Welcome to the first ever recorded podcast for CGC. We are basically doing this emergency podcast, if it's really even an emergency, right? Exactly. Because of the current big piece of news that's happening in gaming right now. I'm joined today by Kal-El, 313. You want to introduce yourself to the folks?
Not really.
Not
No.
really? Okay, fair enough. He's an introvert, folks.
I'm the people's champ. You guys know it. I mean, if not, what else is there to say?
Right.
I probably nuked your parents in Modern Warfare 2. Disaster
There it
mode.
is. The original Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So, basically, the big news today is that, actually, the big news for the past 3 or 4 days, because it started on the weekend, and small rumblings of it have been going on basically for like a month or so now, is that Microsoft is planning on going to some extent or another third party. Now, there's rumors that it's full on third party and the whole slate from Halo to Gears to whatever is coming out on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. There's the most prominent rumors have been partial third party, right? So we're talking Hi-Fi Rush, and I believe I've heard Starfield and Sea of Thieves amongst the games mentioned to be a part of that slate. I guess the first question, I'll let you lead with this, is how do you think this is going to affect or hurt the Xbox brand?
So it's gonna be positive effect, but long term. And here's why. Like, I don't think people are asking themselves the question they should be asking themselves. Like, what is the difference between going third party and buying all the third parties? You're going to be the same entity. They are buying the third parties, right? So Microsoft, if there's any company that understands how to traverse the dangers of the dreaded monopoly, which they lost, you know what I mean? But they have always had to deal with kind of avoiding the idea of it being a monopoly. The concessions they had to make, the Ubisoft concession for the cloud gaming for Call of Duty, wow, now just the world's most popular game, right?
Right.
They can't make any cloud-based money off of that. That floated Ubisoft for the next 10 years. But all the concessions, we'll have parity on the Switch. Now they have to have development departments actually make Switch versions of games. Like, or offer cloud offerings. I guess that might count. Who knows what the contract says, but
I
they had
mean,
to make multiple concessions, right?
if the Switch 2 comes out this year, they may not have to do the cloud thing, but carry on. I got you.
Oh, they want to. Like, so the more they appear to be a third party buying other third parties, the easier it is to make those acquisitions.
And I think that's the point I made in my videos. Just like, this is, it seems to me the play is, look, we're in deep third place in the council race, right? Or we left the council race. And what's the problem with us buying Sega? We put our games everywhere. Like, so say they still make the consoles, right? Oh, look, why can't we buy Sega or EA or Rockstar? We put our games everywhere. We don't make the versions on Xbox special. As a matter of fact, PS5 Pro comes out soon. Then we're making our games better on PlayStation, right? For all intents and purposes, that'll be your best experience. And why can't we buy Rockstar?
Yeah. So here's maybe I'm reading the room wrong, but my understanding of capitalism, especially these venture tech companies and stuff like that kind of level of capitalism, is that it all revolves kind of around the same principle. You come out with something that's cheaper and more efficient, right?
Right.
You get people hooked on this cheaper, more efficient path, especially in tech. We're seeing it over and over again, right?
Right.
And then once you're locked in, you go back to doing the same practices that what you replaced. So I think everybody's going to be stuck in that cycle from here on out because we've always been stuck in that cycle when it comes to technology affecting business. It doesn't matter if you're talking about like the Henry Ford's line to all the way to what the music industry went through. More, I mean, there's just so many examples of the Airbnb. What they did to home pricing because
Right.
uh, Uber and Lyft,
Uber and
what
what it
they
did to
did.
taxi cabs, yeah.
Yes, yeah, they came out, but now now it costs more to take an Uber than it used to take a taxi. Still
Yeah.
faster because there's a dispatch, but
And see, I'm glad you started uh comparing other industries, right?
yeah,
So it's funny enough, and I'm you might think I'm kind of pulling this out of my behind here, but it's actually for me, I think it's relevant, and you could tell
yeah,
me what you think. So right now, and believe it or not, I can't believe I'm pulling this one out of my back pocket again. In pro wrestling, there's a big thing, right? So the whole thing with WrestleMania coming up was Cody Rhodes, quote unquote, finishing his story, which is winning the belt that his dad Dusty never won, which I guess would be the belt that Roman Reigns has.
okay,
And this past Friday on SmackDown, I guess The Rock showed up,
yeah,
and everybody like when The Rock showed up at the actual stadium, everybody went nuts because they love The Rock, and they weren't expecting him. And he's kind of showed up before in the last few weeks, and he's hinted that, oh yeah, maybe I should sit at the head of the table, which is like Roman Reigns' catchphrase, right? One of them.
yeah, yeah,
So he shows up this past Friday, and Cody pretty much declares, "Yeah, Roman, I'm not coming after you at WrestleMania," even though Cody just won the Royal Rumble.
oh yeah,
And
yeah, he's
The Rock comes out, and The
yeah,
Rock
that's all.
stares down Roman.
Oh yeah, Rocket WrestleMania with Roman, yeah, I saw.
So the big thing right now in the wrestling community, and this is where the parallel is that people are saying we want Cody,
It don't
and
matter what they say. It don't matter
yeah,
what they
well,
want.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want Cody, and Cody deserves to be able to finish his story, and The Rock still in his spot. And I'm kind of looking at that like you guys are being played like fiddles. Like, so this run of Roman Reigns, right? He's been saying
For your
that, well, no, they've been, so it's not even been him, but it's like, it hasn't been just him. Like the commentators have been talking about how he's close to beating Hogan's record of 1,500 some days or 1,300 some days like that, right?
yeah,
In another year, he was beating that record.
yeah.
So while all of these people are whining and complaining about The Rock getting his spot,
Yeah.
I'm like, The
Oh,
Rock's just going to lose.
it don't even matter. What people complain about the wrong thing because they just don't understand what just happened. Okay, nature
But you see the
abhors.
similarity, right?
Oh, it's beyond. What happened here is more Game of Thronesian. So nature abhors the vacuum. The McMahons are no longer part of the picture. The Aolis are running the show now. That's what it is. You just saw the biggest power move structure. Vince, Steph, probably Triple H is up out of there. The whole HR department up out of there. Anybody who witnessed something and smelled something up out of there. So they gotta do what Microsoft had to do with Activision's HR department. Like, yeah, nah, man, you stay. Everybody else, Bobby Cotter doing death threats. Yeah, pick up your stuff at the door. Like,
Well,
like,
that's not the only comparison I'm making, right? The
yeah,
comparison I'm making is,
The Rock took over like that.
well, here's my, hold on. Here's
I
my thing.
love
No,
it.
hold on. Here's my thing, though. I'm thinking that this reaction that they've garnered is something they expected because of how volatile those fan bases are. And this is the similarity I'm getting to now.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, it's kind of that thing, right?
Yeah.
Cody will beat Roman Reigns, but it'll be next year.
Who cares?
Exactly. Who cares really? But I mean, there are people who do, right? Which is like the same thing with this Xbox third party thing.
I wonder if
at
the
the end
same
of the
people
day,
watch
if they're still
AEW.
publishing their games, who cares, right?
When
But
Cody was tearing up in AEW, I wonder if those same people care about the WrestleMania, cared about what his work
no, no,
over
no,
there.
no, no. But again, I don't want to lose track of what the original conversation is. It's just so they're complaining and whining about that, and I think they're being made into marks, right?
I love it
And
though.
I kind of think like Microsoft was one of those big companies that they let pieces of news out there slip out. Like, remember when they were supposed to increase the price of Xbox Live Gold by like double or something crazy like that?
Like
And
market
people
research.
whined and complained for like 24 hours, and the next thing you know, it would flip back, only for it then to be later turned into just a version of Game Pass. My whole thing is, I'm pretty sure that being a $1 trillion company, the biggest company in America now, that they, at least per capita, that they are definitely thinking about ways to make more money, obviously. But I think that all sides of this coin are blowing this up well beyond what it's probably going to eventually end up being. And since everybody's going off hearsay and probably the words of somebody who's intentionally linking BS.
Oh, they gotta release it all. They cannot. They want to buy big things. They keep showing everybody that there's a Microsoft plan to pick up Epic. They can't mess with Steam at all. Even though they have a deal with Steam, like you cut on your ROG Ally, your Legion Go,
Steam Deck.
you go, yeah, and you go into big picture mode. The Xbox symbols are there.
Yep.
And then they they sell a lot of controllers. So there's
I think
Steam is private. They can't force them to sell, but I can see them getting Epic, getting Fortnite, rolling a real.
I think the plan is way bigger than a plastic box.
It has to be.
That's my thing. Now, is it going to hurt the actual plastic boxes of Xbox? It may in the long run, but I'm of the belief that a large majority of your fans are ignorant of the stuff that we're talking about. They don't care. They want
in the long run, man.
Yeah, they want something to play Fortnite and Call of Duty on. They don't give a damn about
the consoles. Can't keep up in the long run.
They can't.
Their chip manufacturers also is their greatest asset, and it's also their direct competition. AMD keeps pushing 780M. They're going to be putting out the 87. The next generation will still kind of have the 780M processor, but the generation after that, you can guarantee like the 880M or whatever. That thing is going to be doing 2K resolution, 60 lop, most games low medium. Like that's going to be crazy on like 35 watts or something, right? So, and because like you see these new mini forums and you see these new B-Links that just keep popping up on Amazon, and they're $300 for the 680M version, which is still really good, right? Even though these things can't do what a PlayStation or Xbox can do, just because the teraflops and the raw power that those consoles have, right? Their consoles are designed to stuck with 175 watts easy. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're actually cooled crazily. Especially PlayStation, the first gen. That was so over engineered. I had to have it. Oh, that's the sweetest thing I've ever seen. With liquid metal here, you got all these heat pipes. You pick it up, you're like, oh, this thing's heavy. But yeah, so the consoles will always have that going for them, but it's going to get harder and harder as everybody's micronizing and
like chiplets. To your point, like AMD's the main manufacturer of all these damn handhelds that are coming out.
They're their best. They're their greatest ally in their direct competition. So, AMD trying to put that chip in a TV.
Right. So like here's the crazy thing, right? So everybody's harping on this, but like a lot of the same people that are talking about this also reported that Microsoft is thinking about going to Intel for their next console, and then they're also making a handheld. So my question is, are they really going third party if they're planning two consoles?
I hope that they don't. I hope they phase out the console line if they're gonna really buckle down on owning the tech, right?
Right.
Not just the the mid layer like DirectX, and everything else that people use to make the games, or you can use Vulkan, I guess. But like, you know what I mean? Like being the environment that most PC gamers actually play on. You can play on Linux, you can play on SteamOS. I mean, there's other options, macOS, but most gamers are on the PC. I don't have the numbers, but I want to bet that they're playing on Windows. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, look at Power World. Power World did 10 million
That's
on
crazy.
PC in 2 days,
That's
4 days.
crazy. That's crazy. I know Nintendo's scrubbing everything. They're reverse engineering that
I mean,
AI art.
they pretty much made the same kind of money that like a PlayStation exclusive does in a year in 4 days.
Nintendo needs to buy them and just shut the project down.
Yeah,
Just
and,
take the
and
L,
Nintendo's not
dog.
even really known for acquisitions, right? So that would be a very big surprise move.
Shut them down.
Yeah,
Burn the building
dude.
down. Salt it. Dog.
So back on topic though. Do you think that this is a trend? And I think you touched on this earlier before we started the podcast. Do you think this is a trend that Microsoft is starting as far as just like, look, man, put your games everywhere to make as much money as you can? Because, like I stated in my video that I released earlier today, I don't think that anybody's going to look at this if it works out and say, well, I'm okay with them making all of the money.
They employ some of the most brilliant and brightest engineers and actuaries in the world, right?
Yeah,
There's no way they're looking at the data that's coming back from these IBM photonic processors, the ones that use light waves instead of transistors. There's no way they're looking at that data and like, yeah, nah, man, we can still keep this console thing going. yo, yo, that each one of those is like a quantum computer in your phone. Like those things are gonna revolutionize everything, man. Um, like they're seeing that they know what they're up against. Like they're leading the way in it. They're both one of the leading companies for pushing technologies and just what they did with
you're talking about the hard light processors, right? Or what was that?
yeah, man,
Yeah.
photonic process. The
So
numbers coming back from that are
So hold on,
insane.
like so a lot of our audience may not even be aware of this or care about it, but there are things happening in the actual tech world,
Yes,
the higher end tech world
yes.
that are eventually going to touch the game industry
Oh yeah.
and change forever how it functions. There are
So
there's the potential for devices in a few years that will be way more powerful and they'll sit in your pocket than any box you can sit under a TV.
yeah. So hold on. So last December that passed, Cold Fusion was invented, right? So that happened. AI was unleashed onto the masses, right? um, you've got photonic processors in the mix. Um, there's been what scientists have done with like mRNA vaccines. That's real. Nanites are a thing now. We're heading there, man. And so, like, at a certain point, I feel like the difference for those photonic processors, man. I feel like from what I've read, it seems like it's going to the compute power is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous. Like, I think it's a better idea to own the content and the means to getting that content. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
because at this point, you're talking about, and certainly I'm not caping for Microsoft's decision because I do have my concerns, and I'll touch on those in a moment. But I think between the nonsense that happened with the launch of the PlayStation 5 and the Series X, but more specifically the PlayStation 5, where you had the scalpers pretty much abusing their ability to get their hands on the things, and then chip shortages and things like that.
Yep.
The fact that particularly Sony and Microsoft are selling consoles at losses.
Yep.
is it worth it to have a plastic box? And more importantly, if you're going to have a plastic box, are you going to keep your games exclusive on your platform, or are you going to do something where you release the game on your platform and then do a stagnated release elsewhere just to make as much money as you possibly can off of it?
Depends
Like,
on the company. For
yeah, so
Nintendo,
yep,
lock everything down, keep doing what you're doing.
right.
Nintendo should not change their strategy until the industry makes them.
Well, I mean, we hit on this before though, like Nintendo, and I love Nintendo. Zelda's probably my favorite series ever, but Nintendo has a consistency problem.
Oh yeah, it don't matter. Still,
Yeah.
everything will sell.
Well, I mean, now let's just be realistic though. The last four outside, and not counting handhelds, because Nintendo's handhelds are money, which is why the Switch 2 more than likely has a chance of beating this version of the Madden curse, if you want to call it that, right?
Yeah,
But Nintendo's last four consoles have been the poor performing GameCube, the very well performing Wii, the poor performing Wii U, and then the Switch, which is selling like gangbusters. So the pattern says that either the Switch, I think the Switch 2 is going to be, a hit, but because it's a handheld and it's a hybrid, and as long as they keep that, I think they'll be okay. But the pattern says that anything from just bad luck to a stupid naming convention, because apparently Nintendo believes at least that the Wii U didn't sell because it was called the Wii U and not something else. Like,
you know what?
They could have a good next gen, and there's a small chance they might not. I doubt the latter would happen, but still.
Look. So think about like their pattern as waves in the beat form. What you don't understand is that last good one was the end, and now it restarts to the first two consoles. So
we're the back Nintendo and the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. So they're good for the next, 2 cycles. The beat just relooped.
So you think the loop is good?
Yeah.
good. Because the N64 did well.
Yeah, you gotta go through the whole thing. You can't just look at the last
one.
You gotta go to the
bad, good, and then we'll reset. Okay, well, yeah. Time to tell. I think the one thing that'll save that machine is the fact that it'll be a handheld.
Oh yeah.
Because this is gonna be a handheld, it'll be money. If you can dock it and walk around with it, I think they'll be fine.
It's got back compat, it wins up front.
It's got to have back compat, right?
That's all it needs.
I think if it has that, it's damn near automatic, right?
But the original Switches are still selling.
Right, exactly.
Like, you think they should have been hit market saturation? I guess kids break them or something. They're still selling these things.
Yeah. So here's my thing, right? Like, and it really doesn't matter because people just steal Nintendo's games anyway. Because the security is the worst, and if you want to play it on PC, trust me, somebody's gonna figure it out. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's true. They have a great law team because they have to have one. Yeah. Because apparently security is just not a priority for that company when it comes to their software and their hardware. All that being said, though, do you think Sony is going to go day and date with PC? Because that's the first step for them, right?
I hope not. I don't have any trust that the developers can get it right the first time. At the same time, you know what I mean? I'd rather release it on the PS5, which is basically low spec PC now, right? Release it there, get it tight, and then move it up. Every developer that's making stuff for Xbox, make it for Series S first. Lock it in at Series S, and then you get all your features on, and you move to X. Like, build everything around 1080p gaming. Because if you want to use those ray tracing features, if not, then like I'm kind of done with the whole ray tracing thing myself, man.
Yeah, it has not been the revelation that everybody seemed to talk it up being. It actually seemed like more of a hindrance than anything.
It's dope, but if you're not 4080 and up, it's
you're damning other parts of the game that could otherwise just be
sacrificing that 120 is hard, man. Like, right. I can't do it. I'd rather run everything at 120 hertz than with ray tracing on.
So if this happens and it's just particular games, what games would you like to see come to like a PlayStation other
I
than
think
the
they
ones with
should.
them?
I think that if they're going to keep buying third parties and they are a third party, like I said before, what's the difference if you own all the third parties than if you just call yourself a third party, like you're the same entity. So I think if their goal is to, you know, the rumor was they had 330 billion,
I
70.
think that's down to 200 something billion now because of the purchases they've
Yeah,
made.
even if, even if it's like 160, right?
Right.
Or 170. Let's say that 170 billion. They could pay double what Epic is worth to pick up Epic. That gives them 100 billion left in the tank, which allows them to get Ubi, EA.
Well, they can't touch Ubi for 10 years because of that CMA thing. But
They
I think that's grooming, though. I think
they won't
that's
be able
a layaway purchase right there. Here's Call of Duty. We'll see you in 10, right?
Yeah, they won't be able to buy anybody if they approach it like they're a first party buying third party companies. Like they had to go through two different, the CMT and the FTC really just got into them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they had to make all sorts of concessions. You know what I mean?
And people think because they won against the FTC that they won is like, no, they really had to bust ass to get that thing through.
Yeah,
And
so
the
now they know.
FTC is still gnawing on their tail, right? So
Yeah,
my
so
thing is,
they got to release everything. They have to approach it as being a third party. I mean,
yeah,
and with the tech getting faster and faster, they're going to have to make serious decisions if they want to make consoles anymore. Like but Sony will too at some point. Like at some point, the tech is going to be so good at the phone level that everybody's going to have to deal with that. We already see them playing Resident Evil on phones now, so it's like
yeah. What is it?
I think it's so nice.
The new Apples have
Yeah,
basically a lower res version of Resident Evil 4 remake on it, and it looks pretty damn good. Like,
that's crazy.
yeah, it's just like,
You can game anywhere now. Or
yeah, you can
anything.
game anywhere now, and I think
That's so cool.
again this harkens back to what I've always said. They
Phone.
they were the first to tell you about digital assistants, and everybody laughed at them. That's nobody wants that. I don't want my game recording me. And everybody's got Alexas and Googles and Google Homes and all this stuff in their house, right? They told you about digital games, and we laughed at the video where the two guys were saying this is how you trade games on PlayStation. Now, like pretty much every brick and mortar is getting rid of physical games.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It sucks for being able to keep your games, provided you can keep your hardware up. I get that component, but
right,
the landfill thing, man, like I can't take that out the mix.
Yeah, my whole thing is though, it's called being
the human being.
It's called being the messenger or the harbinger of truth, right? Like I'm telling you what's happening, and you cannot accept it.
Every corporation trying to go green. There's not a corporation that's not trying to go green right now.
Exactly.
They know what doomsday clock is.
So
what's my man from Facebook or something? He built like an arc, $300 billion arc or something.
Zuckerberg, yep.
Yeah, what do you know that we don't?
Exactly. So my whole thing is this, like, let's get back to the original question. What games would you like to see come to PlayStation?
All of them. I don't think they have a choice. If they want to buy other third parties, they can't go to and be like, well, we kept these games off of that system. Not after what the EU did to them. No, they got to release everything everywhere. They don't have a choice. Like, if they want to buy all the third parties, they have to operate like a third party. They don't get to be like, oh, we're a third party with exclusives. No, release it all. Just release it all, and then say, hey, thank you for buying the $80 version. If you want, though, it's just Game Pass for 3 months.
On Game Pass.
Yeah. Or just use our app on your device,
Yeah, exactly. So people are, there's people who are like, the PlayStation fanboys or the Xbox guys that are just too embroidered in the console war stuff, and they're blind to that. It's like, dude, you're literally telling the gaming community at large, either pay us for Game Pass and get to play this stuff,
Yeah.
or give us $80 for it.
Yeah. And you can cash your Game Pass any month you gotta use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the problem, really? Like,
I
I
mean,
don't like me and you. Maybe it's because I mean, just telling us here. Maybe it's because we're older and we just understand how this stuff works. Like I've seen a company die in this business, right? Sega. I've watched Atari and Sega get priced out the game. Microsoft's not dying. They're not dead. They are quite alive. They just own, pardon language, a shitload of stuff.
They are the Xbox division is going back to that concept of how capitalism works. They are going to have to phase out physical media.
And they fired their physical media department recently.
Yeah, they have to phase it out. They have to phase it out. They have to phase out physical media because the idea is to get people relying on digital media as option 2, but preferably to subscribe to their service. The service is what matters. It always was. It's not like they didn't sit around and see iTunes and Netflix rise to power. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're very much aware of it. Like, they know what Disney's doing.
See, that's my thing, right? Like, what corporation do you know is going to see all of the money being made and say, I'm fine with them making that money. I don't want to cut of that. Like, that doesn't exist in capitalism.
Especially one that historically designed their consoles to be a set-top box you can run a cable line through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do y'all want from them? They kept telling y'all, like, they've always sold the Xbox as multimedia machines and gaming machines. Like, that was core to it. Like, it's
like I said, I just don't get it. Like,
they want a piece of that pie, man.
They want they want as much money as they can, and I warn people, like, you can laugh at it now and think it's a thing where, okay, well, this is a sign of weakness. Like, dude, when they own Rockstar in like a year, because this just
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people hope that doesn't happen, but this makes it easier.
Yeah, I don't. So
it makes it easier to happen, and that's like. I would personally rather them not, like, having Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead is too damn much. Right?
They can't. I don't think the Microsoft shareholders are going to play with the Rockstar brand. Like, the Rockstar brand is toxic as all get out. It's just one of those things that society is allowed to rock. Right? But that's it. It only exists because society has allowed it to rock. It is.
You think that's why they haven't bought something like a Mortal Kombat brand or something like that? Is because it's just too damn risky?
Mortal Kombat is way less risque. I mean, there's no M-bombs in Mortal Kombat. You know, even if Stryker's thinking it, he's not saying it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but LD and Grand Theft Auto 5, no, there's nobody at a corporate event like, yeah, let's put this. Nah, man, like, they got to stay away from that. You know, like I said, I think they should go for Epic, leave Steam alone. Like, that is a private company that is the biggest purveyor of interactive pornography in the world. There's no way you're gonna get that through to the board. Hey, man, we make $5 billion off of Hentai Dungeon Master 27,
right?
And 28. They came out 3 months apart. No, Microsoft won't be able to survive that. Yeah, at least leave them alone. Let them make their money, do their thing, you know, and just keep making the Xbox logo appear on there. And release all your stuff on there, you know. Slowly get everything in the Battle.net over there. They did a good job with Diablo and Overwatch. So yeah, but yeah, release it all. Like, just operate like a third party. And that way, if you decide to exit the console business, what it would matter? I mean, everybody's got to use your content,
right? And because, like I said, I don't see them just saying, okay, yeah, we're just throwing the box away. Because that's the only concern I really have is, you know, the amount of stuff that I own on Xbox is, you know, I own a lot of stuff on pretty much all the platforms because I always find deals on stuff.
Oh
and
yeah.
me and you both are kind of in that same ilk. So I would hate to lose access to all of the digital stuff that I
Nah,
have
man.
on
Think about it. So we talking about games built on the x86 platform. The PC in 5 years, it'll be able to emulate your Xbox
Oh, for
Series
sure.
X, S on down. It'll
I
be
mean, for
able
all
to,
intents and purposes,
yeah,
like I can start a game on Xbox and
yeah.
continue to save on my PC or my ROG Ally, which is really,
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm confident they can move the entire Xbox library to an app-based kind of solution if they need to. And everybody will have their content accessible through, either the cloud or whatever, or directly installed through their app, their emulators, and it'd be a project. But I mean, AI will be doing it, and it won't be humans doing it. Just be up in like a couple of days. We're doomed. Power, power, power was the first big one, man. We're about to see, and the worst part is we know, like man, when Daniel Mullins and those super developers start playing around with AI, it's gonna be a wrap. We're about to
Yeah.
see like a billion AI games that are just amazing. Like thing has no soul, but it's good. Ugh.
Well,
There's no more crunch, I guess.
yeah. I mean, they complained about it, so here we are. It's like at the end of the day, crunchy is bad, right? Nobody
Yeah,
should miss seeing their kids or
yeah.
having to sleep under their desk. That's just weird.
The
But
robots, though.
I
Jeez.
mean, the problem with corporations is if the people they hire don't want to work at the pace they want to work at, they will find some way or somebody, or it used to be somebody, now it's some way or something to
Robots.
replace that.
Yo, they just came so quick, though, man. I feel like we should have at least another 10 years.
I think, like you said, we're moving fast. Man.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot real quick, and I like
Ridiculous.
I just want to wrap up by saying that this is going to be a very, very interesting year. No one but maybe a few people saw this coming. I remember the infamous words that Michael Pachter, who people, especially gaming guys, love to say is wrong about everything. He said
Yeah.
that this purchase was going to change the game industry forever.
Yeah. It's so like if you look at all the big purchases over the last decade, right? This was the only one that wasn't a bank that was at that type of money.
Right.
Like everything else was always banks buying other banks, like 200 billion. But like this is the one that wasn't a bank. like and this is I mean, if you had a piggy bank of 330, like what are you doing? Like you want to own it all. And so the only way you can own it all is that you got to make sure you're selling it to everybody. Like I don't know, man. Like the box gotta go sooner or later.
Yeah.
And,
And to be fair, I mean, what we talk? This is the fourth generation of Xbox.
yeah, but it's
They
all the
they
consoles.
they've never been able to crack the ceiling anywhere but here in South America. Like they've never been popular in Japan. They've never been the ace in Europe. They gave it four generational tries and they never were tops.
They can still make a
They can
a
be, I can still,
box.
like I said, I can
They
totally
can still make a
concede them
box. Like
to making a box just so people can access games that way if they want to.
I
Anybody
just
that's
think
saying, "Oh,
long
it's
term.
doomsday for them and it's over," it's like, dude, it's a $3 trillion company. Stop it.
I
That
just
ain't.
think long term the PC stuff is just. I
It's
don't know.
going to
Maybe
operate.
the cycle just keep going the way it is. Maybe that cycle is just locked in, and if that's the case, then we'll always have three consoles. But I just, man, these low powered PCs, these little playing with these little ROG allies and Legion Goes and stuff. I want to see what the claw's about. Steam Deck, like those things are. Once the battery stuff gets right with them, they're a problem. They're
Yeah,
a
because
real problem.
I just thought about that. They are basically the first runs. They haven't gotten the battery right
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. They haven't got a lot of stuff right, but they're
Right.
AMD doesn't really help they don't do driver optimization for the different devices. They leave that kind of up to the people who make them. But Intel's in the mix now, right? So, and Intel does do that. You know what I mean? Um, so it's just none of them are going to make their current systems weaker. They're going to keep making them better and better, more efficient,
Right.
more powerful, and just seeing what these games can do. Like playing Cyberpunk, low settings, lock 60 off battery. Like that's crazy.
That's insane.
That's,
Like the
that's a lot.
performance capabilities of these handhelds is like you could have told me. Like I recently got one of those AmberNet handheld devices,
Yeah.
ones that look like a Game Boy Color, and the amount of like console libraries that I can just emulate on that thing is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like I really do think that we are heading toward a point where Microsoft's strategy might be the one to emulate. And they did this before, right? When they said, well, we charge people to access our online servers. Oh, you're crazy. Now Nintendo and Sony do it. Oh, we're going to have a digital storefront and offer Netflix and all of these other video and movie services on our what's called. You're crazy. No one cares about that on video games. Hey, you go to any PlayStation, Xbox, even Nintendo friends list, and somebody's on YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime. Like they know, they know
Yeah,
where
they
it's
got the
going.
data. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and people try to
They're
kill
just
them for that
making
stuff.
decisions.
Everybody tries to kill them for saying it. It's like, bro, they're just the ones saying it. They know this is what you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. If you didn't have a smart TV, your console is your best friend. Once you get smart TV, then it's different. You rather, for me, I just do it with the remote. But
Oh yeah, same here. But
when I was on that Sony,
yeah,
man, I used to always use my consoles to watch stuff.
and like I said, well, this in another week we'll probably have another episode, and we'll talk about what's to come, because I believe on Monday they're going to make announcements about what is next for them. And
Oh, this is all. I bet you they're gonna say, look, every game that we have is coming out on every console. If they say that, then that's a clear sign that they are looking to buy big companies again.
yeah,
And your
and
biggest companies that they can get
I'm
their hands on are EA, Ubi, and Epic.
and I'm
Or
so glad you
Embracer.
said that,
Or
because
Embracer. They had to. Well,
anybody
Embracer
who's
might want
listening
out.
to this, if you don't take this guy's word for it, you don't take my word for it, you fooling yourself. If they say, yeah, the craziest thing I'm expecting to hear. And so here's the possibility. Let's do this before we close out.
Oh, the
The craziest thing, no, because that's not crazy. That would be like part of
that's an
court.
EA purchase. I don't think. I don't know. I don't see it.
So here's my thing. What is the craziest thing you would expect to see if there was like a video conference or a video presentation? And what's the thing you realistically expect to see? I'll say this. The craziest thing I expect to see that I don't think is going to happen is somebody from Sony saying, yeah, we're going to get Starfield and something else, and in about 12 months we'll put Spider-Man 1 on Xbox. I don't see that happening, but that would blow everybody's mind, right? Realistically, I'm expecting to hear we're going to put Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Halo Infinite on PlayStation coming this fall.
Okay.
I think, realistically speaking, like Halo Infinite has been doing better. It could use a boost in more players, even though the player count's pretty good now, but it's really not where it should be because they fumbled that at the beginning so hard, at least in the minds of the people who love Halo. Sea of Thieves is an older game, but a lot of people still love that game, and it get more people in that would not be bad. Hi-Fi Rush is literally a PlayStation game. Like, is the most PlayStation style game, like PS2, PS3 era. That is a PlayStation style game from the least likely of places. And then Starfield, I just want to see all of these negative opinions on Starfield, how they shift.
I'm telling you, that's not what's going to happen. This is going to happen.
Okay, give me your thoughts.
Who's running their games division right now?
Sarah Bond.
Okay, so Sarah Bond's going to come out and say something like, "At Microsoft, we love games, and we want you guys to love games too. No matter what console you're on, going forward, all Microsoft games are coming to you. That's right. You'll be able to get bam, 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 and they'll just have like the collage of everything. Rare Replay, blah 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 blah. Rare Replay was coming to the Nintendo Switch. You know, that kind of thing. Like, I think they're gonna announce themselves as, we are a third party company for Nintendo and Sony, and we will try to get as much stuff over to the PC as possible. I think they're gonna announce that kind of thing. I think they're gonna treat it as almost like a new statement of direction.
Do you think they abandoned their consoles that day?
No. There's no reason to, because their consoles more powerful or cheaper. So they appeal to both those segments, right?
Right.
So they don't have to. They don't have to abandon these consoles, not for a while. But sooner or later, when these super processors come out, I don't know. I don't know what that means for graphic computation, but it sounds like it's going to be, between that and AI modeling and all this stuff, feels like it's going to be insane.
Right.
And AR, like, it's going to be crazy. And I just don't know how any company survives in that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I think they're gonna kind of talk about a strategy of releasing as much as they can to as many different platforms as they can, based on what they can, get over.
Okay, so how do you feel? What are the releases going to be? Day and date, stagnated?
I think that they would have to stagnate them. Because I think if you're trying to go for parity on the Switch, that's a whole different thing.
Right.
And they can't never realm it. They can't be like, oh, just enable FSR 1.2 to under quality. It's still bad.
Right.
Like, I don't think they can do that. Like, I think they will have to make games that are competent. So it'll be a selection, probably more for Switch.
So for PlayStation, you think it would be day and date, or you think it's 6 months to a year window?
I would do day and date, but I mean, it's up to whatever they decide. I mean, I see the value for both. Like, day and date. I see the
value for both as well, yeah.
Yeah, day and date drives up Game Pass. So if you're trying to get Game Pass, yeah, day and date. But if you're not, if you still want to have that vertical selling games, which seems to be what Game Pass is like fundamentally against, I think that, yeah, you hold on to them.
Yeah, because
or maybe to appease the fan base. Like, I don't know what the core fan base. The Xbox fan base might all be core. Like, so,
right.
I feel like if you're third place and the people who have it are kind of like
the hardcore.
Yeah. This guy's on Xbox, like, yeah, they Xbox fighting games as good as PlayStation. Okay, whatever. You missed like 20 of them.
Right. Exactly.
Get out of here.
It's Killer Instinct, then it's a whole bunch of other stuff on the other side, right?
Yeah, and your controller sucks. For fighting games.
For fighting games, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, I would say that if they did say everything, then if it's the Game Pass play, then absolutely putting things day and date on PlayStation is the move. Because once you do that, then you're telling PlayStation players, well, you got to pay $70 for it, but over here you only need to give us
15, 20,
15, 17 a month,
days,
and you get access to all that stuff.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, you can quit anytime. Bam.
Yep.
Matter of fact, here's 3 months free when you buy any handheld.
That's the crazy part, right? Like, I know with the ROG Ally they did that. I think the other two machines they're doing that too, right?
Yeah, my Legion Go came with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're on a different. They're doing something different, dude. And at this point it's 4D chess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of clear what they're doing. Like they're pushing Game Pass. Same way Netflix push Netflix,
Right.
knocked out all the video rental, stuff. At least physicals. Like what big tech does. And all capitalist organizations strive to do. You just gotta do it fairly. Treat your employees fairly.
Well, we will see, or as they say, time shall tell all. So
Yeah, they better
in
not
about another
activate.
week, we'll reconvene. We should have heard something by then.
Yeah.
This has been a good talk, man. We have talks like this all the time. I figured it was time we just finally went ahead and recorded them because, I mean, things are happening, man. This is. I did not expect 2024 to start like this.
More acquisitions? Oh yeah, you did.
Well, no, not the acquisitions I expected. I didn't expect them to make this move for it, but the more I talk to somebody who understands, the more it makes sense.
Because they gotta be able to prove to the FTC and the CMT in the next 5 years when they're trying to buy EA that our games are everywhere.
It's the easiest way.
That's the only way. They don't want to just battle again. Nah. And they don't want to stop buying stuff either. This is the only play they got. Everything's everywhere. We are third party. And then everybody asks themselves that question: what's the difference? If you're a third party, you own them all. What's the difference? It don't even matter.
Right.
Don't even matter. They pick up just 2 or 3 more major companies. They'll own the IP. They'll be like Disney.
Yeah, I think that might be their goal. Is some kind of Disney level thing where it's just like, because right now we're looking at what Minecraft, Elder Scrolls, and Call of Duty, and World of Warcraft.
No, they want Fortnite. You know it. You know they want Fortnite in the Real Engine. You know they want it. You know they want it, and they want that storefront up out of there. So it's only them and Steam. Come to Xbox and it's on all your systems. Go to Steam if you need your Hentai Love Slave 6. Steam is like, we're privately owned. All that. With all this money, right, Gabe? Like, hand over fist. Turn off your Safe Search and watch it, man. Oh my god. I think MILF Stuck in the Sink 7 is coming.
Jesus Christ. And with that,
ridiculous.
We're going to end this pre-recorded stream. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. And like seriously, in the comments, let us know what you think. Are we off key? Are we on point? Are we somewhere in the middle? Like, let us know what you think, because I don't think this is as simple as a lot of the talking heads you're seeing on the internet is making it out to be. It's way deeper than that. And then there's some who are saying what we're saying, but I see more gloom and doom and why would they do this than I am seeing, logical, well thought out responses to this situation. So I just want to put this out there because, not because I think we're smarter than everybody, but I think some of you guys need to hear something different. Because again, I've said it a million times in this podcast. I don't think this is what you think, what you are seeing it as. It's something more. It's way bigger than just.
It's business, man.
It's business on, like, again, a 4D chess level. It's not. It's not as simple as we quit.
No, but it's obvious though. Like, they want more stuff.
They want more stuff. They want more money. They
gotta be nice. They gotta be nice.
They gotta play nice. Exactly.
And being nice is putting everything everywhere.
Yep.
As much as they can. Like,
yep.
That way, no one can. Because look at everybody was shutting them down just for that. They cannot. You cannot make a monopoly if everybody knows you're a monopoly.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
You can't. They're not going to let you play in the face.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you play in the face. You gotta play some kind of ball for them to let you do it. At any rate, man, we can go on for this for hours, but we'll leave you guys there. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share. Please, please, please share how you feel about this, man, because this is going to literally change the way the entire industry flows. It's definitely something. But we'll catch you guys next time, and have a blessed one.
That was fun.
Yeah, man. Look, let me tell you.
Did I say Rock's